Jason, darling, I'll only be a few more minutes.
That's okay, Mrs. Steadley. Take your time. Ms. Steadley, I don't have a catwalk in here. What's with the designer boxes?
Oh, just a few things I had Ronaldo design for me to work out in comfortably. There, I am ready.
Good God.
What was that?
I said, good job.
Oh, yes. Well, isn't Ronaldo an absolute genius? There. Now. Oh, I'm all ready for your expertise.
Now, tell me again where are the areas you want us to focus on.
Well, really, darling, they're hardly areas. Merely a few locations where there's a buildup of tissue, most likely from my allergies.
Allergies. Yes. All right. Okay. Let's see where these unattractive hives are.
I don't like to mix business with pleasure, but I was surprised to see you at Melissa's soiree last night. I know she is a client of yours. In fact, she's the one who suggested I come here. However, I did not know you two knew each other extracurricularly. I must admit, you two dance beautifully together.
I was a professional dancer before becoming a trainer, and Melissa and I do go dancing often. Why are you surprised? Do you think I fall into your group's NOK category?
NOK?
Not our kind.
Oh, heavens! Oh, not at all, dear boy. It's just that you are so much younger than the rest of us others who are there. If only Melissa's choice of guests was as appealing as her hors d'oeuvres.
Well, the women were all attractive.
As soon as I walked in the words of my heroine, Dorothy Parker, came to mind. If all the ladies in this room were laid end to end, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Dorothy Parker? Didn't she die lonely, heartbroken, and an alcoholic?
We had parallel paths. That's why she's my heroine. Witty, worn, and weary.
And as far as the men at the party go, what difference did their looks make? Most of them were attached to someone anyway.
Oh, darling, I have an advanced degree in detaching. That is if the prey arouses my interest.
Yes, Melissa told me you had a stable of ex-husbands.
She should know. I took one of them off her hands.
And she's still friendly with you.
Are you kidding? Her ex especially belonged in a stable, but not for studs. Geldings is more like it. Anyway, Melissa should talk. She's been on so many mattresses, her middle name should be Posturepedic. On the other hand, she is a geyser of gossip. She told me that you have quite a collection of private clients with whom, or should I say, on whom, you make house calls.
Whoa, just a minute. Some clients, for various reasons, are only comfortable receiving therapy in the privacy of their own homes.
Oh, I see. And I understand that some of those clients also give you therapy in the privacy of their own homes?
What are you getting at?
There, Jason. I was condemned a long time ago and found guilty. So I sit in judgment of no one. You know, you look very tired. What time did you leave the party?
Oh, shortly after you.
Really? I saw you heading towards the bar as I was making my exit without my usual flair and without the testosterone oozing trophy that Melissa promised she'd set me up with if I accepted her invitation.
I was just going back to say goodbye to the bartender.
Really?
Yes. Are you surprised that I would condescend to chatting with the help?
Oh, not at all, love. It's just that if you hadn't seen the bottom of so many scotch glasses, you would have remembered that there was no bartender. It was a self-service bar. However, I did notice that you spent an inordinate amount of time with that full-figured French maid in her tiny white apron and even tinier skirt. And you also had several tete-a-tetes with that very attractive busboy. What was his name? Oh, yes, Andre.
What are you insinuating?
Oh, nothing at all, believe me. My philosophy has always been, If it moves you, enjoy the ride. On the other hand, I do take offense at your insinuation that I was somehow appalled that you would have a personal conversation with a bartender, even if he had existed. I will have you know that I always show respect to those, how shall I put this, on a lower level than I.
That even eliminates some species of snakes.
Why do you mumble so? Are we going to get started on my therapy?
Right. Please lie back. You appear to be in excellent shape for a woman in her early 50s, Miss Dudley.
You may call me Marion.
The only thing I see that needs working are these allergic reactions that have settled here, here. We non-allergic sufferers call them love handles.
Well, with my now long-standing, completely involuntary celibacy, rather than love handles, it would be more appropriate to call them gravitational pulls.
Whatever we call them, we need to work out a program to get rid of them. Now, lift your leg like this.
Oh! Oh, stop! Stop! I cannot lift my legs like that. It causes excruciating pain. Don't ever do that again.
What's wrong? Why can't you? Where does it hurt when you try to lift your leg?
Oh, my lower back. It's from an old injury that I don't want to talk about.
Ms. Dudley, Marion, look, you came here because you wanted me to help you. But I can't do that unless you fully cooperate with me. If you're not willing to do that, then let's call it quits right now, and you can find yourself someone who you can manipulate, control, and then discard, which is your MO anyway. I want you to make up your mind right now. No matter what you may think, I take my work very seriously. You have a physical problem that needs to be addressed.
What do you have to do?
First of all, I have to examine your lower back for contractions and identify the pathology that is restricting your mobility.
Do you have to actually look at my back? I never let anyone look at my back. Can't you do it through my clothes?
Are you serious about wanting help, or is this all just a way to kill time before your usual pre-lunch cocktail?
I'm serious.
What happened to you? I've never seen scars like that before.
Oh, I told you, damn it! I don't let anyone look at my back. Why couldn't you respect that? Or am I expecting the impossible? Sensitivity from a gigolo?
Okay. All right, draw in your claws. Obviously, whatever left those scars on your back left even deeper emotional ones. And those are even worse because they've never healed. And you know why they haven't healed?
Is this a personal trainer's office or a psychoanalyst's office?
I asked you a question. Do you know why your emotional wounds are still festering?
I don't need to put up with this.
It's because they've never been exposed to light. They have to be looked at and addressed until they no longer pose a threat to your quality of life.
That sounds so simple. More than anything else, I want to forget about all the pain and ugliness. But how?
Well, you can start by telling me how your back got injured. Those are unusual looking scars. It looks like several quarter-sized deep burns. I can't figure out what could cause that.
And you don't need to know how I became disabled, just how to minimize the disability. That's why I'm here, and that's what I'm paying you so handsomely for.
In order to do that, I need to know more about the burns. They are burns, right?
Yes, they're burns, and that is all I want to say about it.
Well, I need to know how they occurred, because the depth of the thermal penetration determines the extent of the damage. Not only skin, but muscle tissue, ligaments, and perhaps nerves were cauterized. I just want to know how much flexibility I can help you regain without doing any further damage. I'm not prying, believe me. In any medical workup, very often history is more significant than the physical examination.
And what medical school did you attend, doctor?
Tufts in Boston.
You actually went to medical school? You're kidding me.
No, I'm not. But I was kidding myself being there.
So what's with all this personal trainer business if you're a doctor?
I never graduated. I left after my 3rd year.
On your own, or were you asked to leave?
On my own. I was doing fine, but I went to medical school only to please my father, who wanted me to take over his orthopedic practice.
And?
Well, when I started clinical rotations, I knew I didn't want to be a surgeon, and I knew that if I went into any other specialty, my father would be bullshit.
So what? Did your father control your life that much?
Control? You have no idea. He made Attila the Hun look like a cloistered monk.
So, how did he react when you dropped out?
He cut me off completely, financially, emotionally, zero communication.
Oh, you must have been devastated.
That's the funny part. I wasn't. In fact, I felt relieved. For the first time, I was free to make my own decisions.
Well, maybe you got him purposefully pissed.
Oh, now who's playing the psychoanalyst?
Oh, you're right. Both of us have inadvertently stepped into the very dark and winding corridors of each other's lives. But now that we have, I suggest we start not by throwing on the overhead lights, but perhaps merely striking an occasional match.
I nearly burnt my fingers on the match. Just be careful in the future. It's not my burns, but yours on which I need to concentrate. Anyway, I think we've done enough work for this session. We've identified our primary focus, so now I can design a specific program of exercises to best address your problem.
You mean that's it?
For now, yes. I told you this was only going to be an evaluation session.
But what about Ronaldo's work?
Wear it when you come back to do your exercises.
The same outfit twice? Dear boy. Remember, it's Marion Studley to whom you are speaking. I have to keep my reputation in its depraved state.
Oh, please forgive me. Wear whatever you want. Maybe you can donate this one. You must be on the board of charity for a woman in desperate need of designer sweats.
Sweats? Are you calling these creations sweats?
Oh, I beg your pardon. How about perspirers?
Clever. Very clever. You and I are going to have a very interesting time together.
Well, we really have to stop now because I'm evaluating 2 more clients this morning. That must be the next one now.
Oh, well, let whoever it is wait. I need to have some idea of the exercises I will be doing so I can give Ronaldo some creative direction.
Marion, I have to let that client in.
Oh, go. Don't worry about me. I'll just gather my debris and go in there and get changed. Oh, when I was in the locker room earlier, I found a tiny white apron on the floor, very similar to the one Melissa's maid was wearing last night. Quite the coincidence, mon cher.
No, isn't that strange? I wonder how that got there.
Hey, anybody in there? I had an appointment for 10 o'clock and I don't wait for nobody.
I have to open that door before that guy breaks it down.
Oh,
See you next week.
Yes.
Where the hell you been? I've been standing out there like a jadrule, banging and yelling. You the owner of this joint?
Yes, I'm Jason. And you are Mr. G. That's the only name Dr. Reinhold's office sent me.
Yeah, that's right. But I want you to call me Mac. Here, have a piece of pizza.
No thanks, Mac. Maybe later. But just for my records, what is your full last name?
Hey, kid, you stupid or something? I said you call me Mac. You don't need to know nothing else, capiche?
That's fine. But I want you to know up front, Mac, that you don't have to worry about confidentiality here. No one will ever know anything about you being here or for what reason. Complete privacy is assured.
Privacy, eh?
Oh.
Privacy, eh? What the hell was that? There's someone in there.
You can't just barge in there.
Listen, you punk kid. Nobody tells me what to do. Get back to your desk if you know what's good for you. Get your own.
Oh! Who are you?
Never mind who I am, lady. Who are you?
Oh, me? Well, I'm Jason's psychotherapist.
His shrink? How come you're dressed like that?
Oh, well, let's just say he's a little bit kinky.
Kinky? You mean he's a little, AC/DC?
Oh, no, not at all. Jason is as straight as an Italian sausage.
How'd you know I was Italian?
Oh, well, we shrinks have strange powers.
Yeah, I heard that before.
You like to eat a lot, don't you?
A lot. In fact, that's why I'm coming here. Hey, you're pretty good. I'm already telling you my troubles. You know something? My heart doctor said maybe I should see someone like you to help me with my eating problem. But I was,
Afraid?
What are you talking about?
Oh,
I ain't afraid of nothing.
Oh, well, you're not aware that you're afraid. It is an unconscious fear.
You said unconscious. That tells me you're good.
What do you mean?
If you said subconscious, I would know you didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh, go on. This is fascinating.
Unconscious is the term for thoughts of which there is no self-awareness. The thoughts are so painful they are buried very deeply and can only be recalled by means of dream analysis and hypnosis. Subconscious thoughts, on the other hand, are on a more accessible plane of consciousness, and the person can retrieve them when needed. Like playing chess, even though you haven't played for years.
Well, how do you know all that?
I don't know it. I just have it memorized. It started when I was a kid. It drives me nuts. It's like having a camera in your head. All I have to do is read something once, and I can't get rid of it.
Well, you have a photographic memory.
You can call it that, but to me it's a curse.
Oh, why a curse?
It's a long story, and I don't want to talk no more about it. But maybe later. I like you. You're good.
Oh.
You got a card?
Oh, yes.
Is everything all right in here?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I know I have one in here. Here we go. Here's my card. Oh, and Jason, darling, I almost forgot. I found this wallet on the floor of the dressing room. I looked at the ID card inside, and it belongs to someone named Andre. Wasn't that the name of that cute busboy last night?
Oh, gee.
Oh, imagine a French waitress's apron and a busboy's wallet just happened to land on the floor of your office. What a coincidence! Well, would you believe it? Last night you ended up with a menage a trois, and I couldn't even get the plat du jour.
Okay, you, let's get started.
Okay. How are you feeling since your bypass surgery?
Good. You ain't gonna believe it, but it hurts me more where they took the vein out of my leg than where they cracked open my chest.
That's not unusual.
But other than that, I feel like $1 million. Let's go back into the gym and I'll show you how much I can bench.
Hold on, you're not ready for that yet. We'll start off with some cardiovascular exercise like walking on the treadmill. And along with that, I'm going to refer you to a nutritionist to straighten out your eating problem.
You're talking crazy. I eat good. I just brung the pizza to kind of break the ice. I wasn't going to eat none, but you made me nervous with the waiting. And anytime I get nervous, I want to eat pizza. You got to taste this side with the pepperoni and sausage.
You've got to promise me, starting now, no more.
Look, I'm telling you, I eat healthy.
Yeah? Like what?
Like a lot of garlic.
Right. And what do you think that's going to do for you?
In 1858, Louis Pasteur published his findings that garlic kills bacteria. These intestinal bacteria produce carcinogenic nitrosamines. Therefore, by decreasing the bacteria, garlic decreases the chance of developing gastrointestinal cancer. Furthermore, garlic has been found to decrease platelet clotting and to lower the low-density lipoprotein cholesterol responsible for arterial sclerosis.
How did you know all that?
I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just that I must have read it somewhere, and it stays in my head. I can't get rid of it no more than I could get rid of the agita I used to get from eating my ex-wife's marinara sauce.
Oh, too much garlic?
No such thing as too much garlic. It's just that she used to boil that gravy so long, there was enough acid in it to burn a hole through a cement slipper.
And what is a cement slipper?
If you do your job good, you won't have to know.
Speaking of jobs, what kind of business are you in?
What's it to you? That don't have nothing to do with my ticker.
Oh, you're wrong. Stress on the job is a very significant factor in heart disease. Is your work stressful?
Are you kidding? Nobody's got more stress than me.
Oh, then you have to change your job before it kills you.
Yeah, just like that. Look, I never wanted my job. I was never supposed to get it. But when they whacked Guido, I was next in line to be boss of the family.
What kind of business is your family in?
Kid, I'm going to tell you just one more time. No questions other than about my ticker. You got that? It's for your own good.
Oh, my own good. This is all about your own good. Your good health, Mac. What goes as a successful family business if it turns you into a cardiac cripple? Or worse still, what if you drop dead?
Your job is to make sure that I don't.
I'm willing to try to get you healthy again, but I need your help.
What do you have to know to get me fixed up?
How long have you had an eating problem?
When I was a kid, my mother would always feed me to keep me quiet and out of the way when my father was talking to my brother about business.
Why didn't your dad discuss business with you also? Are you that much younger than your brother?
Guido was my twin brother.
Identical?
Nah, my brother didn't look nothing like me. He was a football player and had a terrific build. He was my father's favorite, and he made a deal with my mother.
What kind of deal?
She was always afraid that my father would never come home alive, and that my brother, when he took over, would end up the same way. That would only leave me. And she made my old man promise not to train me for nothing to do with the family business. And she made sure he didn't.
So how did she protect you from them?
First, you gotta know my mother. She loved to cook, and she always had a head for learning things. She left school early, but whenever she had a chance, she would read. She always told me that words were stronger than bullets. So whenever my dad had a meeting in the house with other members of the family, or whenever he was explaining family stuff to my brother, Mom would put me in a room in the back of the house, which she kept loaded with food and volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica, which she bought on the layaway plan. And I gotta tell you, that was one hell of a layaway plan.
What do you mean?
Every time a salesman brung so many volumes, he would give my father the bill, and my old man laid him away.
The bills?
Nah, the salesman.
I don't know if I want to know all this.
Too late now, kid. I warned you, but nah, you said you had to have the whole picture. Well, I'm painting it for you, and it's a real piece of work.
So you spent a lot of time in that room?
Yeah, stuff in my face and stuff in my head. I don't know which was worse for me.
How can reading an encyclopedia be bad for you?
That was when I found out that I was memorizing every freaking word I was reading. The problem was that the words were coming out of my mouth like a tape recorder, but I didn't understand nothing that I was saying.
How did that affect you in school?
I stopped studying when the other kids started to call me the teacher's pet. And some of the guys who were flunking used to beat me up after school. And my brother Guido had to kick the shit out of him.
Your twin brother's name is Guido. You can't get more Italian than that. That figures. But how come she named you Mac?
That goes back to what I was telling you before about how my mother loved learning. She used to read everything, even plays. Sometimes her and me used to play the parts. Well, one night, before my brother and me was born, my uncle took her to see a play and even brung her backstage to meet the lead guy who signed her program. You know, she always kept that playbill and told me that after she died, she wanted me to have it.
Which play was it?
Macbeth.
You mean you?
You got it. You are looking at Macbeth Gaetano. Some handle, ain't it?
What did your father say about your name?
You got to understand that even if my father was the boss of the mob family, my mother was the boss of our house. And when she made up her mind, he never said nothing. Look, kid, I got a meeting in Little Italy in about an hour, so why don't you show me around, give me an idea of what kind of exercises I'm going to be doing here when I come back.
You're right. We did take longer than usual for our initial interview, and I do have a client coming in very soon. Let's do this. That's a generic cardiac rehab workout sheet, which I have customized for you when you come back. But it describes all the exercises and machines. Let's quickly go into the gym, and I'll show you how it's set up.
Looks like your next case is here already. You better let him in case he gets bullshit if he has to wait like me. Don't worry about me. I'll go next door myself, and I'll look around for a while.
Oh, hello. Come in and sit down.
Thanks.
I don't have to ask you why you're here. What happened?
I get this often, but this is by far the worst it's ever been.
Do you know what brings it on?
It's always the same thing.
What's that?
If I tell you, you'll think I'm crazy.
Of course I'm not going to think you're crazy. You have severe torticollis, and it would be very helpful to know why.
Torticollis, is that what it's called?
Yes, and if you tell me what triggers it, perhaps I can not only straighten you out, but prevent it from happening in the future.
Authoritarian anger.
Authoritarian anger. What does that mean?
It goes back to my childhood.
Join the crowd. You don't have a twin brother by any chance, do you?
No, I'm an only child. Why?
Nothing. Please go on.
Well, when I was a kid, whenever any man with a dominant personality vented his anger at me or anyone in my presence, my whole body would tense up, especially my neck, and my mother would have to massage it. Over the years, it has become worse. I now have a lower threshold, so it takes more manipulation to break the spasm. This time it was my boss that did this to me. It's so bad that I knew I needed professional help, and that's why I'm here.
I can administer deep massage and ultrasound therapy, but this is going to require more than that.
My friends who referred me to you were right. I am relieved that you are aware that standard treatment is not enough, and you will really have to work me over. The tougher, the better. I can take pain. A lot of pain. I even brought some things with me that have worked in the past.
I wasn't referring only to physical therapy. You need more than that. We have to somehow decondition your muscular skeletal system from reacting to stress as it does.
Let's get something straight. I only came here for your strong physical services, and I will pay you whatever your fees are for special attention. No one can change why I get this way. When you see this, I'm sure you will agree with me.
You're a clergyman.
Yes, I am. What difference does that make?
Well, none. It's just that you surprised me because you said your boss brought this on.
That's right, my bishop. I always seem to manage to get him upset.
Let me look at this.
Oh, yes. Right there. Oh, press deeper. Even deeper.
That's deep enough. I don't have to hurt you to cure you.
Oh, yes, you do. Oh, believe me, you do. Don't stop, please. I'm beginning to feel slight relief already.
Now remember,
Oh, my God!
when I come back here next week, no waiting. Got that? Excuse me, Father. I didn't mean to scare you.
Who is that? Just barging in here like that and yelling? My neck is even worse than when I walked in here. Oh my goodness. Oh, What now?
Here, Father. I want you to light a candle for my ex-mother-in-law.
When did she die?
Pretty soon, if she don't stop telling my ex-wife not to accept the divorce settlement.
Well, I don't usually... $100?
And there'll be plenty more if that candle gets her to play ball. In fact, I'll pay you to light one every week from now on. A deal?
Oh, yes, a deal. Ooh, my neck is killing me.
I'll leave yous two alone. Nice to meet you, Father.
The pleasure, or should I say pain, was all mine.
Are you all right?
Never felt worse. You're really going to have to whip those nasty spasms out of my back and neck? Where do I go to get undressed?
No, hold on. Who said anything about getting undressed?
Why are you being so difficult? I've been through this before, and I know what I need. I was hurting when I first came in here, and after that episode with whatever his name is, my neck is killing me. You are going to have to use all the equipment I brought up with me.
I have everything I need to treat you. I don't need any equipment from you.
Don't you think it's just possible that I may know a little more than you about my own affliction?
Then why the hell did you even come here?
My, we do have a big ego, don't we?
Listen, don't think you can hide behind that clergy collar. You have more wrong with you than your neck. In fact, that's the least of your problems. Your brain is a lot more twisted than your neck.
Oh, look, everyone. Freud buried inside a rentable boy toy. Well, used to be a boy.
Oh, listen,
What's
you
left
little...
is still for rent.
No, listen, you little bastard. I'm not taking any more shit from you. Take your deviated neck and perverted psyche out of here now.
Oh, stop shouting at me! Oh, look what you've done! Oh, my neck! Oh, my whole spine is spasming. Oh, I can't even straighten up. Help me, please. You have to help me.
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, sure. I make myself get this contorted at will.
No, that's not what I mean. These spinal spasms you're having is real, but it's not caused by anything physical. It's a reaction to me yelling at you. You know how to provoke a guy. It takes a lot to get me to that point, but you got me there in a hurry. I bet you know exactly how to push the bishop's buttons, too. He gets angry with you often, doesn't he?
Just about every time we're together.
Just what I thought. Okay, just rest over here for a while, and I'll be back to give you ultrasound therapy.
Okay.
You know what? It occurred to me that when you referred to my last client as what's-his-name, you have no idea who he is, right?
Right?
Then how are you going to light a candle and pray for his ex-mother-in-law when you don't even have a name?
Oh, that's no problem. I just tell God that if he really knows all things and all beings, finding this unfortunate woman and signing her up to one of those standard $100 a week, keep your mouth shut or you're going to get whacked contracts should be a piece of cake for him.
So you're even pushing God's buttons, huh?
How much longer do I have to be on this thing? I could have walked to Canyon Ranch by now.
Not unless it's located 20 blocks from here.
You must be joking. I think you need some upgraded machines. I feel like I've already completed a pilgrimage to Lourdes.
You appearing in Lourdes in that outfit would be some apparition. The people would think they're seeing the patron saint of colorblind designers.
Oh, drop the wisecracks. How much longer?
You've only got 1 mile to go. The time will pass quicker if you stop watching the monitor. Let's talk about something. How about your love life?
Okay. And what will we talk about for the other 9/10 of a mile?
Come on, it can't be that bad.
No, you're right. There has been a very interesting and coincidental turn in my social life.
Tell me about it.
Well, the coincidence is that I met him here. And what makes it so interesting is that for a long time, he has unknowingly played a pivotal role in my life.
Who are you talking about?
Mac.
Mac? Look, before you go any further, I have to tell you that the G of his last name stands for...
Gaetano. I know. That's what makes it so interesting.
Interesting. I'm talking mafia, and you're talking interesting.
Extremely. But I don't want to get into any details. I was merely responding to your question about my love life.
Okay, time's up.
Oh.
All you need now is some deep ultrasound massage.
Ooh.
Sit right over here.
Okay. Thank you. Ooh.
Do you have any children?
No. My former boyfriend told me he never wanted to have children.
And you couldn't convince him otherwise?
Are you kidding? Once he made up his mind about anything, nobody could change it. In fact, that's what led to those burns on my back.
He burnt you?
Oh, no. What happened was, before I met him, I was dating this other guy, and I thought I was in love with him. And he asked if he tattooed my name across his chest, would I tattoo his name along my lower back, which he said was one of the most beautiful parts of my body. So, being foolish and naive, I agreed. Because we didn't have much money, we had one of his friends, who was an amateur tattoo artist, make these large tattoos on us. Now I know he used some cheap, lousy ink.
So now your boyfriend wanted you to remove the tattoo.
He insisted that I get it removed. But because of this cheap, lousy ink, it was very difficult to remove. So he kept taking me to different places. And the last one was a guy in an office above a restaurant in Chinatown with some kind of secondhand laser that he kept using until he finally got every bit of the tattoo out and left what you see now. The place was filthy and had no medical supplies. The guy wasn't licensed to write a prescription for antibiotics, so the burns got infected. I got sepsis. I got very sick. And now you see the result.
What a horrible story. That's why you can't fully extend your legs. It's so horrible, I don't even know what to say. Who made you do this?
Oh, he's dead now. We met when I first came to New York. I was only 20 years old and waitressing in a restaurant in the village. He saw me and started giving me gifts. We started dating. He told me he was married, but because he was always gentle and compassionate with me, I agreed to be available for him. He put me up in a wonderful apartment and took me to the best places and bought me the finest clothes and jewelry. I thought I was in love with him and that he loved me.
And what happened?
Well, he did his best to see that I was taken care of during my recuperation from the sepsis. But he had to hire non-professional help to keep anyone outside his sphere of influence from knowing anything. I never saw or heard from him after that. When he died, Vito, his closest friend and someone who was always very kind to me, told me he had spoken to Guido's twin brother, the new head of the family, and that his brother instructed Vito to see to it I would never have any financial worries.
Guido? The guy you were involved with was Guido Gaetano?
Yes.
You know that Mac is Guido's twin.
I know.
This is really getting crazy. How can you even talk to Mac after what his brother did to you?
Oh, Mac is nothing like his brother. He took me out of destitution and gave me a quality of life that allowed me to reclaim my self-respect, and I never even knew him. Well, I know him now, and I can tell you that behind that bravado is a very sensitive and sensual man who is as lonely as I am. I've given it a lot of thought. I see it as a relay race. I can either let the past erase any potential for affection or let the present erase the anger and self-pity. The future has to take the baton from one of them, and I've concluded that the present is odds-on favorite to win.
Does he know who you are?
Oh, no. And he never has to. Right now, he thinks I'm a psychotherapist.
Well, the psycho part is right. If you think you're going to get away with that, you know, you can get in a lot of trouble if he finds out.
I don't think so, because he's afraid of anyone knowing the workings of the family, so he avoids all that when we are discussing things. He only talks about symptoms, not their potential causes, no matter how much I probe in hopes of giving him some insight. In fact, yesterday I decided to stop the whole therapy thing when I hit a raw nerve, and he began acting strangely. I don't want to jeopardize what we have. We are very fond of each other. In fact, we've moved to a very satisfying level of intimacy.
Sounds like you've crossed the forbidden therapist-patient boundary line.
Oh, nonsense, darling. What one can say that I've developed a new therapeutic technique: horizontal transference and countertransference. Oh, that could be Mac. He told me he had an appointment with you today, and if that's him, please keep him in the office long enough for me to get changed and leave. I don't want him to see me like this. Oh, you better open the door. He hates to be kept waiting.
Oh, believe me, I know. But he's not scheduled till later on. That's another client, so you don't have to rush getting changed.
Well, don't be too certain. I told you I was with him yesterday, and I may have delved too deeply into his past. He started to feel uncomfortable.
And I told you that you could get into a lot of trouble with this pseudo-psychiatry charade. When you say uncomfortable, do you mean that he was having chest pain?
Oh, no. He just said he was feeling anxious and he wanted to get here early. I asked him if he thought his anxiety could be caused from feeling guilty about something. He thought about that for a long time and then said yes. He was sure that guilt was a major factor in all of this. He also said he figured out how he would take care of it.
Oh, hi there.
Hi there.
Hi yourself. How are you feeling? Hey, your neck looks better.
Well, the rest of me looks straight too, but you know what they say about looks.
Oh, I know about looks. Listen to this. I had a plastic surgeon for a client, and in his office he had a large sign that read, "Remember, it's not how you feel, it's how you look that counts."
I love it.
There's hardly any stiffness here.
Maybe not there.
What do you mean?
My arms. Yeah, my arms. Those exercises with the weights have helped, and they helped my neck a lot, but my arms feel a little stiff.
That'll go away after a while.
Oh, I'm very patient. I don't care how long it takes or how much it costs, provided, of course, it's not more than that usual $100 a week.
You mean Mac has stayed in contact with you?
It appears that his ex-mother-in-law had a stroke of some kind the week after we met, and now she can't talk. He swears my candle lighting brought it on, so every week he sends me money, I guess to ensure the status quo.
That is sick. Funny, but sick. And you have no problem accepting the money.
Look, if I tried to return it and she recuperated it, I would be the one having difficulty talking. And besides, I am using the money for almost what it was intended.
How do you figure that?
Well, Mac wanted me to get rid of a pain in the ass, and I'm using it to get rid of a pain in the neck. It's all anatomy, right?
God sure acts in mysterious ways. My last client must have left by now, so why don't you go in and change and we'll get started.
Sure. Is anyone in there?
Sorry! I'm taking an inordinate amount of time changing. Forgive me. I will only be a minute more.
No rush. Take your time.
Oh, I am sorry. Oh, Reverend.
Oh, don't be. You gave me a few minutes to warm up.
Oh! Why do they call these dumbbells? I'm sure they'd be even more popular if they would call them smart bells. Perhaps then even some of my friends would use them. At least the few who know what smart means.
Well, I sure would hate to have you give me my penance.
Oh, but I would love to, because that means I would get to hear your confession. Oh, speaking of confessions, I'm sure his would be a gold medal contender.
What's going on in here? I didn't know you two knew each other.
We just met, and already she's on her way to getting me defrocked.
Oh, defrocked. That's one thing I haven't tried yet. But I must say, it does sound kinky. Anyway, what's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Well, you wouldn't have to worry because I know everyone worth knowing, and I am sure I could get you refrocked. In fact, it would be occasion for a gala. I know, we would call it the frocking ball. That would surely send my fellow denizens to their designers in droves.
Do you have something against the church?
Reverend, darling, I have something against everything. My emotional bank account may be drained, but my bitch account is always overflowing, which allows me to make so many uncharitable donations. Oh, but to answer your question, I have nothing against the church in particular. I'm against all religions, and believe me, I have tried them all. I have prayed to everything from icons to icebergs, and all I have to show for it are the calluses on my knees.
Are you sure you got those from just praying?
Touche. I would have been disappointed if you passed up that straight line. But on the other hand, I'm not certain you know what straight is, darling. Thank you. It's so nice to have someone who appreciates my wit. I think you and I could get go along very well. Do you have a card?
Ah, yes, I do. It's in here somewhere. Here it is.
Oh, great. You know, if you play your cards right, I may get some of my friends to pitch in and buy you a church, and you could go into business for yourself.
Thanks, but it doesn't work that way.
Correction, Your Eminence. It may not have worked that way before Marion, but now, fasten your seatbelt.
What a woman.
What a woman is right. No, I think I know who that is. Go get changed and I'll be right in. Oh, hi there. You're early.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta talk to you.
Sure, sit down. What do you want to talk about?
I ain't been feeling so hot since yesterday.
Maybe it's because of what you've been eating.
Yeah, I've been eating real good since I started working with you. I had to make these pizzas with low-fat mozzarella cheese. They ain't gonna hurt nobody. Here, have a slice. Funny thing is that it's not even my body that's bothering me, it's my head.
Do you feel dizzy or lightheaded?
Nah, I'm just confused about how to handle the pressure of my work. It's making me nervous. I even had a hard time sleeping.
Why don't you discuss this with someone at work who can help you make decisions?
What are you talking about? I'm the boss. There ain't no one to discuss nothing with.
Then you have to quit. Go into some other field.
Yeah, sure. What are you, nuts? If I quit, I'll end up in some field, all right. A field in the Bronx somewhere.
Well, then you need to talk to someone who can treat anxiety and depression.
Marion told me I was feeling lousy because I got a lot of guilt. She tried to get me to talk about it with her, but I always thought that I can't talk to nobody about my work. But after she told me about the guilt thing, I remembered that there is one person I can talk to, and he can't tell nobody nothing about what I said to him.
Who's that?
Does that priest, you know, the one with the screwed up neck, still come in here?
You mean Jonathan? Yeah, in fact, he's in the gym right now.
Great! I gotta see him right away.
You can't just barge in there. It's a matter of privacy.
Privacy is right. My privacy and his. And I don't want nobody disturbing us. So you stay here and have some pizza. In fact, give me the box in case we get hungry in there.
I can't let you do this again.
Hey, we went through this before. I want you to listen, and listen good, and nobody's going to get hurt. Capiche?
Okay, well, whatever you want. But believe me, you have no idea what you're in for.
All right, just stay in here till I tell you.
Oh, there you are. I'm just about ready. All that's left for you to do is strap my arms down and gag my mouth. The whip is out there on the chair.
Father? Is that you?
Oh my God. What are you doing here? Oh no! Oh! Ow! Ow! Oh!
What am I doing here? What the hell are you doing? What kind of therapy is this?
Oh, please get out of here before I go into a permanent state of frigidity.
No. I came in here so you can help me.
Me? Help you? If it's another candle, just leave the money and I'll figure out who it's for.
No. That's not what I need. It's more personal.
Personal? What exactly do you want?
You gotta hear my confession now.
What? Are you crazy? Hear your confession here. Like this? Impossible. This is the most absurd thing that I have ever heard of. I can't hear your confession like this.
If you refuse, I'm gonna kill myself. You want that mark on my soul, Father? On your soul?
There's no room for another mark on my soul. Oh! My spine feels like a corkscrew. Put the gun away. Please, put it away. Okay, I'll hear your confession. Just don't do anything crazy. Come closer.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Wait a minute. If the bishop could see this, I'll be assigned permanently to some leper colony. Just stand here behind me.
It's been a long time since my last confession, but I gotta tell you, it never bothered me none until yesterday. That's when I was feeling guilty. You know what that feels like?
I sure do.
I didn't know what to do about it, but then I remembered that when I was a kid and did something bad, I used to feel lousy. But after going to confession, I felt good again. That's why I'm here.
Why? What do you feel guilty about?
I feel guilty. The main thing is that I can't kill nobody.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You want to murder someone?
Not that they don't deserve it or nothing, but I can't do it. And what's worse, I can't even order nobody else to do it.
And for that, you feel guilty?
You don't understand.
No, I don't. Look, the 6th commandment says, thou shalt not kill, and that's what you're doing.
It's the 6th only one of traditional arrangements of the 10 commandments of Decalogue.
Really?
Yes. It is the 6th in the rabbis and the Philo arrangements, and 7th in the Nash Papyrus. And there is even a somewhat different version in Deuteronomy 5.
That's very interesting. How do you know all that?
It's a long story, but let's just say that my head is as screwed up as your neck. Anyway, the first commandment in my family is that you gotta whack certain jadrules to keep the respect of the other families.
Families? What families are you talking about?
You know, the mob.
You mean you're part of the mob?
A big part. I'm the head of the Gaetano family, and I ain't doing such a good job. And my old man would not be proud of me, because he could kill like nothing. And me, I can't hurt a fly.
How long have you been boss?
A year, just a year. And I already had a heart attack, and I can't stop eating. You want one? They're made with low-fat mozzarella.
Oh.
Have a slice.
No kidding. Maybe just the one. So, how have you managed to stay boss without killing anyone?
I've been telling my boys to bring the guy who's causing the problem to my office, and that I'll take care of him myself.
And?
Well, then I threatened to kill him. And just before pulling the trigger, and when I see the sweat on their head, I offer them a deal they can't refuse. If they agree to disappear out of the area permanently, I'll let them go. But if they cause any trouble with their personal family members, their personal family members, their kids, their wives, their girlfriends, their dogs, they'll all get whacked.
Have any one of them ever caused you any more trouble? You know, this is good.
That's the funny part. So far, none of them have bothered me no more. Here, have another.
Okay. All I can say to you is that you're probably the best boss the mob has ever had. In fact, you were so brilliant that the best mob boss that has ever had. In fact, you're brilliant. You're putting the practice to the old adage, the pen is mightier than the sword.
What do you mean? Nobody uses a sword no more.
It's just a saying that means you can get more accomplished with words than war.
That's what my mother kept drilling in my head when I was a kid. She used to say I can get more done with my tongue than with a gun.
So that's where you got it. Look, let me tell you, all of us have been told that, but only a gifted few can put it to use, and you are a master of it.
Here, Father, have another. You just saying that to make me feel good?
No, not at all. Listen, you're keeping the troublemakers out of your hair without any bloodshed. Your father couldn't do that, and look how he ended up. I bet I know how he died.
Just like my brother. From a bullet in the head.
See what I mean? I'm telling you that instead of feeling guilty, you should be proud of yourself. Stay focused on what your mother was teaching you, and you'll be fine. What's bothering you is that in your mind, you're still hearing your father's orders and feel you're disobeying him and should be punished. Believe me, I know all about that.
You too? How come? Was your father like my old man?
Well, my father died when I was 4 years old. My mother blamed me for that.
What do you mean?
Well, one day he got upset with me for something or other and said he was going to spank me. I started running away from him. I ran out of the house and onto the street just as a car was coming. My father rushed and picked me up over his head just as the car crashed into him.
That's terrible. But it wasn't your fault. It was an accident.
Well, my mother kept telling me that if I hadn't been a bad boy, my father would not have died. Anyway, that just left the two of us in a sort of screwed up Oedipal complex.
Edible complex. That's what I got. You put anything edible in front of me and it's gonzo.
No, I said Oedipal, as in Freud.
Oedipus Rex, the Greek king who killed his father and married his mother because he was jealous of his father. Freud's theory is that all young boys experience those feelings but are afraid to anger their father because he might castrate them.
That brain of yours is something.
Yeah, I can't do nothing about it. I never know when the freaking thing is going to turn on. Anyway, your mother, was she tough on you?
In a passive-aggressive sort of way.
What do you mean? She used to belt you?
I wish she did. That would have been easier. No, she kept telling me that I would burn in hell for making God angry, and she would make me stay in church for hours.
For what happened to your father?
That, and for whatever most boys growing up do. The difference was that they had a father who would physically discipline them, and then it was over. They had no lingering guilt, whereas nothing I could do would get rid of mine. I even became a priest to please her.
So you was castrating yourself, like that guy Freud says.
I never thought about it that way, but I guess you're right. You know, I never told anyone else what I just told you.
At least you being a priest must have made her happy.
No, she was happy all right, but only because I could officiate at her funeral and offer masses up after she died.
When did she die?
2 days after my ordination. How's that for perfect timing?
I'm sorry.
I know that's terrible to say, but I wasn't even able to shed a tear.
You gotta feel bad about that. But I gotta tell you, your mother was right about you being a priest.
Why's that?
Because you have a head for figuring out how to explain to people why they ain't thinking right about their problems. You just showed me that. Nobody can learn that because it's a gift from God. Either you got it or you ain't. So you're doing good work for God.
It's nice of you to say that, but look at me. How can I possibly be doing what God wants of me?
Hey, just because you're a priest, that don't mean you ain't still a human being and have all the problems we all got. And you're trying to find a way to live with them. I was feeling lousy about not doing what my father wanted, and you helped me with that. Now you feel lousy about what your mother... Look, I remember reading about St. Augustine. Hold on a minute. St. Augustine, a 4th century theologian who learned to reject his fleeting human desires and surrender himself to God and grace, demonstrated the importance of understanding that humans are born sinners. We cannot trust our own desires because our desires always lead us astray. We are wired to behave sinfully, even if we know our sinful behavior is pointless and will only make us unhappy.
Unhappy? I feel awful. My own mother and I can't grieve. I deserve to be tortured for that.
Is that what the whip is for? You don't need that, because you're beating yourself up without it.
No. It's just that when my neck gets really locked, inflicted pain while I'm restrained changes the focus of discomfort and my neck gets better.
Did Jason come up with that?
No, I discovered it on my own, and in fact, I have to pay him handsomely to do it.
Well, your neck seems to be much better now.
Yeah, you know, you're right, I feel pretty good.
And no whips, just talk.
Like in your office, no bloodshed, just talk.
Besides being a good priest, is there anything else you like?
And this is something else I never told anyone before. Dancing. I like dancing, but I've never been any good at it.
Did you ever take lessons?
No. I was afraid to even talk about it.
Maybe it's not too late for the two things.
What two things?
First, don't be afraid of what you feel inside no more. And second, start dancing. Look, I gotta go. But, you know what? Take this.
I can't take money for hearing your confession.
It's not for the confession, Father. It's for dance lessons. Catch you later. By the way, do you do weddings?
Sure, I do weddings. I wear my Chanel chains for those.
I got some thinking to do, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
Are you all right?
Never felt better. Do you know how to dance?
Well, yes. In fact, I was a professional dancer before becoming a professional personal trainer.
Perfect. Put on some dance music.
Dance music. Don't you want therapy?
This is what I want. And don't worry, I'll pay you for it. Come, I need dance lessons.
I'm not sure about this.
I am.
Let yourself in. It's unlocked.
Hey, this place looks terrific.
Wait till you see what they did in there. The crew Marion sent over just left, and I had no time to change. I'll be right out. I'm almost ready.
Take your time. I know I'm early, but I'm so nervous. And I told you before that when I get nervous, pizza's the only thing that calms me down. Pepperoni! One of my favorites!
Congratulations. This is a big day for you. How are you feeling? Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little. Want a slice?
No. No, thanks. I'm too excited to eat.
And I'm too excited to stop.
Why did you bring all that food anyway? Marion has brought food catered by the Ritz.
Yeah, I know, but that's not for a couple hours. This is just to tide us over till then. Where is Marion, by the way?
In the locker room with Ronaldo himself.
Wait a minute. You mean some guy is in there while she's getting dressed?
Calm down, calm down. You don't have to worry about Ronaldo being in there with her. Believe me. On the other hand, if Ronaldo was in there with you, well, that may be cause for worry. Cabiche?
Cabisco. Where's Father?
Well, he should be here any minute. Even as we speak. Ooh, your irreverence.
No need to genuflect, my children, but generous donations are always welcome.
Hi there, Father. You want a slice? It's from Starchy's. It's the best.
Oh, not right now. But thanks anyway. Perhaps a sip of that champagne? I'm always afraid of dehydration.
Sure. I'm a little dry myself. I even brought some cups, Father.
I'll get them and you pour. I think we could all use some.
Thank you.
You pour.
Thank you. A toast to the groom. Here.
Shan't I? Honey!
Is Lady Marian here?
Yes, she's getting dressed.
I'm sure she'll be a vision.
And so will you.
What do you mean?
Here's what Marion wants you to wear. It's in there.
For me to wear? What's wrong with what I have on?
You're not coordinated.
Duh.
With what?
With the rest of us.
But I really don't think I want to.
Wear it!
Okay, you stay in here and get ready. Mac, you got to see what Marion has done in the gym. Well, what do you think?
Holy cow! I ain't seen nothing like this since we celebrated Don Lucchese getting whacked at the Sons of Italy Hall. In fact, that's where I told Marion we should get hitched. Mrs. Genovese makes a calamari sauce to die for, but she said she wanted it here, because this is where we met.
Knowing Marion's track record, I thought it was because this was the only venue she hasn't tried.
What's a venue?
Oh, that means menu in Ethiopian.
You know, that's one food I never ate.
Really? Well, maybe you should take Marion there after the wedding. There's an outside chance that she has never had a honeymoon in Ethiopia.
Everybody here?
We are. Are you ready?
The question is, are you ready? Well,
You're gorgeous!
Ronaldo really outdid himself this time. You are something.
Does this meet with your approval?
Genius, pure genius. Everything is just perfect.
Do you think it would be inappropriate to preach the Sermon on the Mount in this attire?
The Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the poor in spirit.
That's
for
enough.
they shall-
That's enough. We don't need to hear all that. Unless, of course, you've memorized some obscure version of which includes "Blessed are the coordinated." What say you, Lady Marian? Shall we begin?
Absolument.
Do you, Macbeth Gaetano, take thee, Marian Steadley, as your lawfully wedded wife?
You betcha.
And do you, Marian Steadley, take Macbeth Gaetano as your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
By the powers invested in me, I proclaim you man and wife.
There's pizza all over the floor.
I stole a seat. Oh, thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you all again. Have a great summer, everybody. Thank you so much.
Because the sweetener. I was shitting up that I kept trying to stick it in my pocket. I had the pocket, but I couldn't launch it. Motivated. Yeah. You know what? It's hard with the script.
Oh, when I took the pizza, no, I wasn't supposed to.